This is a Star Wars Action News Hypercast.
Hey everybody, Andrew here, and I'm back for another Mandalorian Monday. This week we're looking at yet another Stormtrooper from The Mandalorian. This is also from the first season of Mandalorian. We haven't seen this character yet in the second season, but you never know. We could see him. We don't know yet. We're only halfway through the season so far. So this week we're going to be looking specifically at the Incinerator Trooper. This is a figure that I've really been looking forward to opening up, so let's go ahead and dive right in. This is a character that I have other versions of, not Hot Toys, action figure form, specifically because one of my focuses is video game characters. And since this character first appeared in a video game, I believe it was The Force Unleashed, I've got other figures of it, so I'm looking to see what the one based on The Mandalorian looks like. Here we go. There he is. All right. So again, same packaging as the last time. The standard black with the band around the bottom. Pretty standard, nothing too exciting there. Although, I am pretty excited just by looking at this picture. Usually, the picture that's on the front of the box doesn't get me too excited, but just looking at this pose that he's in, the giant gun that he's got there, really has me excited to open this one up. And just the tease of the flame effect right there is looking really cool. All right, let's see what we've got for the inside art. Oh yeah. Yeah, look at that. Of course there's Photoshop in there with the cinders flying around. They don't have those as added accessories, but yeah, this flame effect I think is going to look really cool. They have had flame effects before with the First Order Flame Trooper. You can see it right here behind me. It's got a pretty cool flame effect on it. It'll be interesting to see how this one compares. Let's see what we've got behind the wall. There he is. Yep. Pretty standard looking for a Stormtrooper figure. Let's see. Yep. He looks pretty cool. Let's get him out here. See what we think up close. Again, standard hands. You've got a couple trigger fingers, a couple fists in the stop in the name of love pose. Oh, there's lots of stuff in here that I wasn't really expecting, but I guess it all makes sense. We'll see. Here he is, figure himself. One of the things that I really like about this one is that it is very bright and colorful. I really appreciate when I have a chance to get a trooper that is has color, because it really kind of pops in with the rest of the Stormtroopers that I've got. So yeah, this is going to look really good. It's going to kind of stand out because he's got this bright red pauldron. It's not quite like the Sand Trooper that's orange and muted because it's dirty. This one is really bright and is really going to stand out in the collection. It's going to look really neat once it's mixed in with everything else. If I can get him to stand up, he'll look really neat. There we go. What else do we have here? I'm going to start where I usually end, and that is with the base. Very standard. It's one of two standard bases that they have. If I can get this plastic wrap off here, I'll show it to you. It's the grill base, so nothing too exciting there. Of course, it's got the nameplate here, Incinerator Stormtrooper. So there's the base. Again, nothing too exciting. It doesn't even really have any texture to it. There's no wash, I guess. It has texture in the grill, but there's no paint texture added. Very, very flat, very plain. And what else do we have here? Of course, we've got the giant backpack. Look at that sucker. Very cool. I like the red that's used here. It's a darker red. Of course, got some good detail with the nozzles up top. They do not turn. Then you've got your strap. So it's an actual backpack, which is kind of different from what they have been doing with their the backpacks, at least recently. The ones that I've been doing here for Mandalorian Monday were just kind of magnets to the back. This is an actual strapped backpack with adjustments, so you can tighten it and loosen it. Make sure that it's hanging correctly for your lumbar support. Very handy. Thing is monstrous. Looks really cool. Kind of reminds me of the back of the Space Trooper that they did way back when. And we've got the, whoa, there's the flame effect. It'll be coming out of the flamethrower. Translucent. Starts off really clear, as you would expect. It's got a couple different entry points, looks like. So we'll have to see here in a second what that gun looks like, what the flamethrower looks like. That light really goes through there nice and gives it a lot of depth and color to that translucency. Really neat. And it's not really long either. It's pretty short. So you don't have to worry about the weight of it, you know, sagging down over time. And it's pretty rigid plastic too. And here's the big mamma jamma gun. Keep wanting to knock over that Stormtrooper. Yeah, here's where it's going to plug, that flame effect's going to plug in. And it's got those two entry points down at the bottom. It's a pretty stiff entry to get it in there. Once it's there, it's good. Look at that. Look at that thing. That is really cool. Looks very menacing. All right, and then we've got the hoses, looks like. So that'll plug in to the backpack at some point. Not entirely sure. I'll have to take a look at the directions and see how this all goes together. Interesting. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, get everything put together, and I'll be back to let you know my overall thoughts. See you in a sec. All right, well, right off the bat, I'm just going to point out that I'm not a big fan of how you have to put on the backpack. It actually requires you to disassemble the figure. You have to take the helmet off, the side pauldron off, and then put on the backpack. Yeah, so I'm not really a big fan of when you have to do that, but we do what we have to do. All right, well, here he is, all assembled. Very simple assembly, other than the fact that you had to take the helmet and the pauldron off to get on the backpack. Everything else slid right in. There were a couple of hoses here that fit in the back. Thankfully, they have different size plugs for different size holes, so you know which one goes where. And then they all come together and just slide right into the top of this flamethrower. So very easy assembly. They did a really good job with this figure. The paint is a little lackluster other than the bright red. There are some dings in the paint. I kind of wish that, you know, when we saw this character in the first season, he was on a desert type planet with lots of sand and dust. Would have been nice if we had a little bit more paint paint to reflect that in his armor. Very clean other than his boots. His boots are dirty. The rest of his armor is pretty spotless. There's a couple little flecks down here at the bottom and a couple here on his thighs, but other than that, very, very shiny. Again, the paint chips on the red is a nice touch. I just wish there was a little bit more dirt and grime just to make him look a little more worn, like he's actually been working in the desert. Again, really cool flamethrower, really cool flame effect. I really like that. I love how this comes out of the 3 nozzles at the end of the flamethrower. The big chunky gun feels really good. He does tend to be a little bit top heavy because of all of this, so you're going to want to make sure that he is secured on the stand. The figure kept trying to fall over until I got the hooks of the stand actually up underneath his cod piece here. It's probably pretty uncomfortable for him, but I'd rather him be uncomfortable and stable than have to worry about him constantly falling over if a shelf gets bumped. Other than that, you know, he's a Stormtrooper with a big gun. So if you really like Stormtroopers, this is going to be a great addition for you. I love when they do special things like this flame effect. I absolutely love that. I will say one thing that concerns me is the ability to take the backpack off again. There is a clip right here in the center that you would see on a lot of backpacks these days, especially for backpacking, where they've got that clip right here in the middle that actually has a little clip in it. Very rigid plastic, and I could easily see that possibly breaking if you're not really careful, and I'm not really sure how easy it's going to be to actually take that clip apart in order to, you know, put it back in the package if you're ever going to move or need to you know, kind of refresh your collection a bit, put them back into storage if you need to. So that's my only real concern with it. Other than that, I think this is a great looking figure. Like I said earlier, he's really going to pop out of the shelf if you've got a bunch of Stormtroopers together. That bright red's really going to draw people's attention, as will that awesome flame effect in the front. Really cool backpack, big and chunky again, like everything else with this figure. The legs are pretty stiff. A standard problem with the Stormtrooper figures because of the armor, as are the shoulders, especially with this pauldron, really limits your ability to move that arm when you're posing him. But again, that's all pretty standard with Stormtroopers. So if you've had a Stormtrooper, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, so this is a really great looking figure, really cool addition to the collection. And that's about it for him. Next week, I will be doing, finally, the Mandalorian. I've got a figure that is here. It has finally arrived, and I will be unboxing the actual titular character of Mandalorian Mondays next week. So go ahead and make sure that you're tuned into that. And yeah, hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching. Please check out some of our other videos, and you can hear hundreds of Star Wars collecting podcasts and see photo galleries at our site, swactionnews.com.